Hello everyone, welcome back or welcome to my book channel. I'm Bookbird. Today I'm gonna go through the books that I read in the month of January. For this month's wrap up, I am going from least favorite to favorite of the month. Least favorite of this month, and one book that I should have DNF'd but didn't, was The Housemaid by Frida McFadden. I have a full kind of rant review, both spoiler and non-spoiler, for this book. I picked this book up because of the adaptation that came out recently, and I think I should have just seen the adaptation and skipped reading the book. But like I said, you can see my full thoughts in my previous review if you're interested. Editing voiceover, Bookbird here. I forgot to insert this book, The Grown Up by Gillian Flynn. I did read this during Winterween with the next two books that I mentioned. I just completely spaced out on this one because I didn't really enjoy it a whole lot. It was a short 1-hour audiobook that I listened to during Winterween, and I found out that Gillian Flynn kind of really isn't my type of thriller author. She seems to take darker themes and just themes I don't enjoy. But like the next two books that I talk about, you can also hear my thoughts more in the Winterween vlog. Next up is Masters of Death by Olivia Blake. I read this during Winterween, so you can also go watch my Winterween vlog if you want to see what I thought as I went through this. But to sum it up, the first half I liked better than the last half. I would like to read Terry Pratchett's Discworld, particularly his character of Death, to see how much Olivia Blake took inspiration from that character, or if it was a complete copy of the idea, because I have not read any Terry Pratchett ever yet, so I plan on picking up the Discworld specifically around the character of Death and further decide if I want to keep this, because the writing in it was definitely interesting and new and something unique, but I'm unsure if I'm gonna keep it based on not liking where it went, adding characters that were gay that the main story ended up revolving around. So it just is a case of, I don't think this story is for me, but the writing was interesting and the comedic character of Death was fun, but overall I gave it a 3-star, kind of like a middle of the road book. It was good for the enjoyment of reading it during Winterween, but other than that, I'm not sure if I'm going to unhaul this or not. And speaking of unhauls, I'm definitely unhauling the previous book I talked about, The Housemaid. Definitely gonna unhaul that. I don't know if I'm just gonna leave it in a free little library, since there's a ton of them on Pango right now they can get, but we'll see what I do, and I plan on doing an unhaul video eventually because I want to go through my shelves again. Next up, since the next few kind of have an equivalent of how much I enjoyed them, we'll keep with the theme of during Winterween, so that vlog still is on theme with this next book. which is The Haunting of Payne's Hollow. I did just borrow the Legend of Sleepy Hollow from my library, and I plan on picking that up soon. But this book I had a really good time with. It ended up with a twist at the end that I didn't expect. I don't think I want to tell you too much, because I think going into this mostly blind, I think is the best case scenario for you if you're going to pick this up. But this is a very good spooky read. It takes place during summer, so if you want a spooky summer read, this one would be good to pick up. I recommend not even reading the synopsis, because I think it gives away some of the surprises, and I wish I had been more surprised at what it revealed in the synopsis. So just going into it, all you need to know is the main character, Samantha Payne, inherits her grandfather's land, but in order for her to complete that inheritance in his will, she must live on this land for a total of 1 month, and she can do whatever she wants with the land after that. She can sell it, she can live on it, and this is something that Samantha really wants, because her mom is suffering from early onset dementia, and she needs the money to pay for the care and the medicines that her mom requires. So she goes and she spends a month on her grandfather's land, and spooky things happen, and that's all I'm gonna say about this. If you really want to hear some of my non-spoiler thoughts on this book, it is also in that Winterween vlog. Okay, next up is a reread, and it's The Dragon's Apprentice. I actually just finished the sequel that I got as an e-arc that comes out in February, and I really enjoyed my reread and also picking up that second book. I think I enjoyed the second book even more than this one. I almost wish this book had been combined with the second one, because it's almost like this is very much a setup for the characters in the world, and you get a lot more of an adventure and the magic and just the world building in the second book. And once I hit the 50%-ish mark, actually a little bit before that of the second book, it was really hard to put down. So definitely recommend this middle grade series if you have a child who's on the younger end of the middle grade age range, like the 9, 10, maybe 11. I think they would like this more because of, so I think Kiara, our main protagonist, she reads very young. In the second book, you see a growth in her, I think, based on the events that happen. But I think it's a very clean middle grade that's good for a younger audience. And even as an adult, I really enjoyed where it went in the second book with all the fantasy elements. So I definitely am recommending this series so far. I can't wait to pick up the third book, but I'm sure that's going to be another year or so until that one's out. Mercy is here helping. But we're going to stick with our middle grade theme, and I also continued the Morrigan Crow series. went on to the second book, The Wondersmith. I also extremely enjoyed this one. I continue to love this series. Morrigan finds out way more about the magical world she's in. And this, you can see the inspirations from Harry Potter in, but it is kind of just echoes. It's not exactly the same. It takes those kind of ideas and inspirations and changes them. So there's a place called the Ghastly Market in this that kind of is inspired by Nocturne Alley in Harry Potter, which is like the evil wizard hidden place where they get the dark arts magic items from in Harry Potter. But in this, I feel like it's darker in a way with what these evil bad magic wielders are doing than Nocturne Alley, which I was kind of surprised. I obviously don't want to spoil anything, but this series continues to surprise me in me recognizing that things are kind of taken from Harry Potter, but they're different and they surprise me and are unexpected to me because they're flipped and twisted in a different way. So I still continue to really love this series. I have Hollowpox, which is the next book that I hope to pick up next month. If you haven't seen it yet, I continued the Dresden Files with book 2, Full Moon. I did a full spoiler vlog on that, trying to be a detective alongside Dresden to see if I caught on to things before he did or as he did, and trying to solve the mystery while reading. I had a lot of fun with that vlog, so I plan to continue doing that next month with Grave Peril, which it will also fulfill my library challenge prompt for favorite or loved author. And finally, my nonfiction of this month was Waiting for Nerdrotic, and I did a full review, and I'll link that you can get full in-depth thoughts. And I still, even though it's nonfiction, I kept it spoiler free for the most part so that you can get the gist of what it talks about, but not specifics to Nerdrotic's story. But I really enjoyed this one. I tabbed it, obviously, so if you know me, tabbing things means I found a lot that I enjoyed about those specific pages. And I think this is the quickest I've gotten through a nonfiction in a while. It usually takes me some time to get through any nonfictions, especially a memoir, because this is technically a memoir. It just happens to be in a fun style where certain pages have like an interlude of like comic book style storytelling. So that's a lot of fun. And so, like I said, I have a full review on this and where you can find it, and you should go check that out. My twin also makes an appearance in that video. And I'll talk quickly about kind of what I plan to read this next month in February. I plan to, like I said, pick up the next Nevermore book, Hollowpox, either at the end of next month or the month after. I have 2 different NetGalley arcs I need to get to, and my small book club pick that we picked is The Stainless Steel Rat by Harry Harrison, that I'll be picking up from the library this month. Grave Peril I'm picking up from the library this month. And I have to continue my read of Better Than the Movies, which I'll probably be done with within the first week or so of this next month. And then I need to start working on my 1 to 10 TBR tag, so I think I'll pick up one of my shorter page books with that, so either City in Glass or Honey. I mentioned last month that I was reading The Hexologists, and I kind of soft DNF'd that series because I was rereading the first one to read the second one during Winterween, but then I kind of felt like I needed something more fast-paced than what I was feeling with the first few chapters of that, but I wanted to take my time and really enjoy it, and Winterween is more of a quickly fast-paced, get a bunch of books read and focus hard on those books, and I just didn't feel like I could do that with the Hexologists. Just a soft DNF, try later type situation to finally pick up that series again. But those were my reads for the month of January. Having 31 days kind of gives a lot more time to get to the books I wanted to. But let me know what you got to read this month, what was your top read of the month, and also maybe what you're excited for me to be reading that I mentioned in this next month of February. And as always, so I can see everyone in the next video, please hit that subscribe button.
But if I lay down and I play dead and I stay dead, maybe you'll get sick of being the